Thank you for joining this week's segment of the Rip-Off of the Week. And it's going to be a great segment. Today, we're going to arm you with great examples that you can take to the family barbecue, because nothing's better on Memorial Day than arguing with your big government sister-in-law or mother-in-law and being armed with terrific examples of government overreach, waste, fraud, abuse of our tax money. My name is Adam Mangiewski, and I'm the founder and CEO of OpenTheBooks.com. And you know our mission at OpenTheBooks. It's to put every dime online in real time. And last year, these examples that we're going to talk about today and many others, we filed 40,000 Freedom of Information Act requests to capture this information so you can hold your public officials accountable for tax and spend decisions, so you can educate your own family, for crying out loud, on how government is not a good steward of your tax dollar. We as individuals, as Americans, we're charged with the oversight of our public officials, and it rests on having the detail to hold them accountable. So welcome to this week's segment. Without further ado, I want to introduce my co-host, Tamara Colbert.
Good evening, Adam. Thank you so much. Before we came on, we were kind of laughing and going through some of these. I think we need to share with folks these are historic examples of the Golden Fleece Awards that we're going to talk about tonight. What are the Golden Fleece Awards?
Well, some of the examples that we talk about, we're going to go back in history to the former U.S. Democratic senator from Wisconsin, the legendary William Proxmire. And starting in 1975, he started giving out awards for federal waste, fraud, and taxpayer abuse for the corruption that flowed through Congress that he witnessed. And these Golden Fleece Awards are absolutely amazing. But I have to say, Tamara, one of our researchers found this Golden Fleece Award, and it is absolutely amazing for everyone that thinks government can do it better, honestly, and more efficiently to spend your tax dollar than you as the individual can do. They got to hear this example of waste. Proxmire identified a study from the FAA, and they spent $60,000 in the 1980s. That's probably about $150,000 today. Here's the study.
Right.
They took 432 stewardesses. That's what they called them at the time. Flight attendants, airline stewardesses. And they measured the length of their buttocks, and when they sat down, they analyzed the arrangement of their knees. This was a study from your FAA with your tax money back in the 1980s.
So, Adam, that's almost as outrageous as penguin studies. Let's start with penguin studies. Share with our audience what penguin studies are.
Well, this is something our team just found. This is recent from 2020. So the University of Wisconsin accepted a grant from the National Science Foundation. That's the federal agency that the Biden administration wants to put on steroids, to put like $100 billion literally into the National Science Foundation. Well, they gave $300,000 to the University of Wisconsin to create fake penguins. I kid you not. The study was for the penguins in the Arctic. But rather than send the researchers there to look at real penguins, they created a virtual reality platform, and they did their study on the fake penguins for $300,000 of our money.
Does it get worse than this?
Yeah, it gets worse than that. So we identified it just a couple of years ago that a $1.4 million federal grant flowed into Maxine Waters District in California to teach sex education to California prostitutes. And we observed correctly that they don't need sex education. They could probably teach the class. Well, just recently, not $1.4 million, but $2.1 million flowed to a grant to teach sex ed to prostitutes in Ethiopia, for crying out loud.
Wait, our tax dollars went to pay for sex ed for Ethiopian prostitutes.
Yes. And hey, it's no different from what Proxmire found back in the day. $121,000 in 1980 money, that's probably like $300,000 today, went for a study of how people interacted and related to one another in Peruvian brothels.
Adam, honestly, the truth is truly stranger than fiction when it comes to the government spending our money. Now, recently, there's been a lot of discussion in the news about extraterrestrials and UFOs and the federal government suddenly talking about UFOs. Even former President Obama has been commenting on UFOs. Tell us what OpenTheBooks has found on UFOs.
Well, Proxmire found in 1978 that the federal government had earmarked $15 million to try to identify alien life. Well, just a couple of years ago, our researchers found $1 million grant from NASA to prepare the nation's religions for the discovery of extraterrestrial life. In our latest report called Where's the Pork, we identified a $7 million grant to Georgetown University to prep new alien detection techniques. They're really trying to find ET.
Maybe they're hoping ET is going to bring some cash with them to fund the federal government. So there's another.
You're right, Tamara. They're trying to figure out how to tax ET, actually.
That's exactly right. So tell us about bee stings, because bee stings have also been the recipient of federal grant money.
Well, the recipient was actually an Ivy League college. And there's 8 schools of the Ivy League, and collectively their endowment is north of $140 billion. In other words,
billion with a B? 140 billion.
So they've got all the money in the world, $140 billion in their endowment. They don't need our help. They don't need taxpayer help. But we found $1 million grant out of the National Science Foundation. That's the agency that Biden wants to put $100 billion into to compete with China. $1 million went to Cornell University on a study where it hurts the most to be stung by a bee. Here's the conclusion of the study. They had one guy using honeybees. He stung himself everywhere. On a chart, he rated the pain from 1 to 10. Okay, I mean, he stung himself everywhere. Here, the top body part that is the most painful, actually, is the nostril. He says your nose starts running, you start sneezing, you get headaches, all this kind of stuff. But the honeybee stings you in your nostril. So that one.
It's unbelievable to think about this, but I think this one. Now, Chinese defense contractors have also gotten in the mix for Paycheck Protection Program money. What is that all about?
So look, our auditors, we made the Wall Street Journal last summer. Remember, in March of 2020, right as the pandemic started, Congress passed the CARES Act. Within the CARES Act, which was $2.3 trillion, they had the Paycheck Protection Program, PPP funds. That was supposed to be for the mom and pop businesses on Main Street. Those people suffering under the harsh economic conditions imposed on all of us. And what we found was that, Hollywood legends actually took PPP funding. So like Kanye West, his sneaker company, took $2.3 million. Robert Redford with the Sundance Institute, I think they took $2 or $3 million. Francis Ford Coppola, the producer of The Godfather, for 3 companies, took like $8 million. Okay, that's dumb. This is what's dumber. Up to $400 million out of round one. Round one PPP funds ran out of money before it got to Main Street businesses. Chinese defense contractors, their U.S. subsidiaries, took up to $400 million out of the PPP funds. So Tamara, the Chinese Communist Party, they own these domestic subsidiaries. They took $400 million. It was PPP for the CCP.
Exactly. Oh my goodness. So I think we've got time for one more. We're talking Palestine, Israel. This conflict has been in the news. I think we need to end with even President Biden is now talking about bailing out the Palestinians. Can you share with our viewers what that's all about?
Well, this example alone could be the ripoff of the week by itself.
Right.
So at Forbes, we put up a column 3 days ago on the reversal of the Trump foreign aid freeze by President Joe Biden. So Biden made the decision back on April 7th to restart funding to the Palestinian refugee program. That program's been going on for 71 years. Mm-hmm. Our auditors found that $6.3 billion of our tax monies flowed through the UN, specifically to the Palestinian refugees. Trump, for the first time in 71 years, he froze it all. $0. Under the Obama administration, that funding had peaked at $400 million. Trump froze it. Everybody said the world was going to end, but what happened? It became one of the calmest periods in the Middle East. Peace broke out amongst the neighbors with peace treaties and everything else that Trump didn't get credit for. Biden decides to reverse the policy, giving them $110 million back in April. Right. Within 30 days, the rockets are flying. The Palestinian, there was 4,000 rockets launched from Gaza into Israel. And then 2 days ago, Biden said he's going to deliver another $110 million to help rebuild the place after Israel responded. So, the ripoff of the week should go to President Joe Biden, about $220 million now to restart U.S. taxpayer money into the Palestinian refugee program.
Well, Adam, this is a lot of good talking points for folks to discuss with friends, neighbors, and family this Memorial Day weekend, whether they're at the barbecue or whatever they're doing. Where should they go to find all the extra details around some of these key talking points that we discussed today?
So, for instance, go to our website at OpenTheBooks.com, and when you're there, please sign our petition. We have a petition tab across the top of the website to urge Congress to read the bill. And it's already been turned into Senate legislation. Just organically, we've got about 20,000 people that have come to our website and signed that. And we want to put hundreds of thousands of people on that petition. Look, we don't have a representative republic, Tamara, unless our representatives simply have time to read the bill. It's necessary. Let's do this together.
Absolutely. You can always tune in to the Rip-Off of the Week, sponsored by Open the Books. You can go there, as Adam said, openthebooks.com every Thursday, 5:30 Eastern, 4:30 Central. You can learn more. Remember, this is Memorial Day weekend, and for that, we are eternally grateful for those that sacrificed everything for this incredible country. Adam, you get the last word to sign us off tonight.
Amen. Just let's say a prayer for all of our fallen heroes who died not knowing the end of the story. And the end of the story is up to you and me to finish it for all of them that have given the ultimate sacrifice for the United States of America.
God bless you. Thank you for watching tonight, and we'll see you next week for another Rip-Off of the Week.